Hello, this is a brief overview of your instructions for your semester project for Econ 201, the Principles of Macroeconomics course. At the top of these instructions are your Common Course objectives that the project will meet. The next part here is an overview of the assignment. Down here are some specifics about the submission of the assignment. The grading of the assignment, it'll be about 10% of the course grade, and there's a rubric to show you how it will be graded that I'll get to near the end of this little video. Each class or section will have their own due date, and for all sections, the submission must be made through Brightspace, and it should not include the student or instructor names. Only in the project itself, only should be the student's 900 number. Don't worry about your instructor not knowing who submitted the work. Brightspace will identify that. But these will be compiled and graded as a whole for the whole institution, and they should be graded blind, so the 900 numbers will be a way to do that. There are a list of steps here, 4 steps to do the project. Be sure to read them all before you begin, because step 1 is to interview someone at least 20 years older, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, an acquaintance, someone who has lived a comparable lifestyle to you back when they were your age. And what you're going to be asking about is the prices of things that they bought when they were your age, and you're going to compare those prices to the prices that you have to pay now. You're also going to ask that person about the wage they made back when they were your age, or the wage they could have made back when they were your age, and you're going to compare that to the wage that you make now or the wage that you could make now. Then you're going to put all of that into this table. The top of this table lists specifically what to put for each column. You're going to do this for 5 items that may or may not be bundled. By bundled, I mean things like a ball game outing. Here you have 1, 2, 3 items, all part of one outing. If you do something like a gallon of gas, well, there's more to your standard of living today compared to the past than just the price of a gallon of gas. Cars get better mileage then. So you might want to make this something like the cost of a trip somewhere driving, or as in this example, just the cost of filling up a car, because fuel tanks are also tend to be smaller today than they used to be roughly 20 years ago. So across the top of this table are the things you're going to list for each column. So you're going to list the price back then and the price now. You're going to list the wage back then and the wage now. They're listed here. You're going to divide those things, and what that will tell you is how long you had to work for a gallon of gas then versus how long you have to work for a gallon of gas now. At the time of this writing, gas had gone up in price, and I suspect it will stay that way for the foreseeable future. Gas is a pretty volatile item, though. Over here is the difference. Gas has gone up, so it takes 2 minutes longer to pay for a gallon of gas than it did roughly 20 years ago. Over here, what you have is that difference divided by the old amount of time. Percent change is always and everywhere new minus old over old, and then multiplied by 100 just to move the decimal over. So what this is over here in this column is the percent change in the amount of time you have to work to pay for a gallon of gas. If you do your calculations in a spreadsheet like Excel using the equal sign and then typing in the cell you want to use, you hit equal and you type in the arithmetic that you want done there, then hit enter, it will fill in the answer for you. And if you later go back and say, oh, I found out that price isn't accurate, when you change the price, everything will change for you. When you do the arithmetic by clicking on this cell, for example, if you say this cell divided by this cell, then that in this cell here, if you say that, it will automatically change if you change either of these. So Excel or a spreadsheet is very nice for doing your calculations. You don't have to do it that way, but that's a good way to do it. Once you've created your table, then you're going to write down here in step 4. It lists the specifics, a 3-page commentary about what you found, and the specifics about how that should be formatted. The table, that's in addition to the table. Again, APA 7 style for your reference page. And for your references, you will need 3 scholarly resources. We have a handout to describe what scholarly resources are. You also have the library to assist you with that, and we have a dedicated librarian dedicated to this project to help you. One last reminder, again, should be submitted through Brightspace, and there should be no names. Neither the professor nor the student should be on the submission, just your 900 number. A couple of resources to help you along your way. Here's the rubric. What a rubric does for you is lists the objective that's being met, the specific portion or the question within the project that addresses that objective, and then some possibilities of what an answer might look like. There are 4 points for each of these objectives or questions, and you have from 4 down to 0 of what answers might look like. So if you don't submit anything for that particular question, then you can count on a 0 for that particular question. If your answer looks like it's described here, then you could count on a 4 for that particular question. I think it's useful to note for this project that the information literacy piece is worth just as much as the other questions. So your works cited is worth just as much as addressing something in your commentary. So it's very important that you make sure you do your reference page, and the better, of course, the better. So that's the rubric, that's what it's there for. And the one last thing I want to point out is a nice website that I have found useful in writing. This is in addition to our resources here at CCBC with the library. You can go to what's called the OWL at Purdue University. It's a free site hosted by Purdue University. I just Google it each time or search it on my web browser. And I find it like this. And this gives you everything you need to know about APA citations. And it's not necessarily a lot of instruction. There is instruction there if you want it. But what's great is over here, it gives you examples. So they're the basics for your in-text citations and specifics about the authors for your in-text citations. And there's what your reference list should look like. And by these, what I mean is it gives you examples of each kind of author or work cited that you might find. So 2 authors, your in-text citation for APA 7 style looks like this. It gives you every kind of example over here. So it's a great resource. So hopefully this gets you underway. If you have any questions, of course, your instructor is there as a resource. And as I said, we have a dedicated librarian at the library to help you as well.